Um, let me start with the Ukraine question. You know, as a general principle, I say this as someone who spent a life dealing with foreign policy issues. It's very easy to be very sharply judgmental and actually say that this represents a high standard of ethics. It can be analytically very easily displayed or projected in that manner. But look at the complexity of real life. We took the position from the start that you are not going to get a solution to this conflict on the battlefield. 2 years have passed. There were many who felt 2 years ago, or somewhere in between, that maybe they could. I think today many of them don't any longer. If one sees, in this day and age what conflicts bring, there are actually no winners in a conflict. That at the end of the day, every party and a lot of innocent bystanders or other nations also get ruined or affected one way or the other by conflict. So our position has been here that find a way of bringing this conflict to an end. And very honestly, in some circles, this was not a very popular position at that time. But I say this to you very sincerely, as I travel around the world, and I look at countries far away, low-income countries, who found their food supplies cut off, who could not afford energy, who could not secure their harvest because they could not get fertilizer, whose trade was so disrupted they didn't have money to settle the bills. Many of them are in debt. All this has happened actually as an outcome of a conflict, and nobody was even talking about it. So I think it's important here to life, if life were binaries, very clearly this is right and that is wrong, and this is good and that is bad, and this is the one you check and that's the one you cross out. Life would be incredibly simple. I don't know if you'll need foreign policy. You certainly won't need foreign ministers. But it's, I want to say that, in real life, I mean, you spoke about the Israel issue. Look, in a way, how different the pulls and pressures can be. On the one hand, what happened on October 7th was terrorism. On the other hand, nobody would, countenance the deaths of innocent civilians. Countries may be justified, at least in their own minds, in responding. But you cannot have a response which does not, every response must take into account something called international humanitarian law. And the fact is that whatever the rights and wrongs of the issue, there is the underlying issue of the rights of the Palestinians and the fact that they have been denied their homeland. So, I'm taking that one issue, and I've given you 5 different aspects of that issue. And somewhere a solution cannot be that I will pick 2 out of the 5 and leave 3, because you will not get a solution out of that. So the point is, all of us who are in the, I would say, the policy world, who have to take those calls, much of our challenge is how do you get this balance right? That we are today still one of the countries who are in a position, where I go back to India tomorrow. I have the foreign minister of Ukraine visiting me the day after that. We have also been the country who have the opportunity to talk to the Russians very frankly and bluntly on this issue. On different aspects, others have used us to pass messages. And by the way, the same thing applies when it comes to the Gaza-Israel conflict as well. So I put it to you today, this is not an issue of a moral cop-out. This is an issue today of appreciating that real life actually has a whole lot of complexities, and that the considered answers, the sustainable answers cannot be very angular. They cannot pick some facets to the exclusion of other facets.